What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Next Win podcast with your host, Aunt Ma, co-host Justin Vaseur. And I hope you guys have been enjoying all these uploads as we have been putting them up every Tuesday through Friday on YouTube, 1 hour episodes on Sundays, and also 1 hour episodes on Spotify and all the other podcast platforms where you actually get to hear it 1 week before anybody else on YouTube. So make sure you guys follow on all the podcast platforms. Today, we're going to be talking about, did we make the right move with all the big boy money that we had? So there might be some regrets here. There might be some good things. But once we started making good money, for me, I didn't start throwing money away. I think when I was younger and I had that first $3,000 a month job, I started throwing some money away. But when I started making $5,000 to $10,000 a month, I was actually starting to save up and reinvesting it back into the businesses or myself. What did you do? Because when you started making $5,000 a month in your photography business, now obviously, what did you have to do? Did you scale your business, buy more equipment? What did you do with all this money that you made?
Yeah, I mean, initially, I don't know if this would be a bad decision or a good decision. I think it was a mix of both. Um, but I went straight into renting like a really cool spot.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was always my vision, was to have my first spot be a really cool, clean um, location.
What was the spot for?
So the spot was obviously a living space, but also a studio.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So it was mainly a living space in the sense of um, how the home was built.
Yeah.
It was a condo, and it had a loft and everything.
Yeah. So you were house hacking, but instead of renting it out, you're running a business out of it,
Well, I was house hacking in two ways. I had a roommate, and then
running the
yeah,
business.
running the business.
That's dope.
Yeah. So I think rent at that time was about $600 for me.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
cheap.
and it was a really nice condo, which was 1,800 square feet. It had a loft, a really cool loft, a cool like living space area.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I was running my business out of it.
That sounds like a really good way to use the money that you've been making.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a little bit more, even though it was $600.
Yeah.
At that time for us, it felt like a stretch here and
Okay,
there.
yeah.
Here and there. Just at the time, the apartment was like $1,200 or somewhere around there. And that was expensive
Mm-hmm.
for us, or just in general.
Yeah, at the time.
Yeah, at that time. So we just balled out, I guess. Got the spot, used the spot for work, and yeah. Besides that, I ended up reinvesting everything into equipment.
Did you have any regrets now that you look back on it? Should you have used the money for something else?
Yeah, I think I could have spent less money on the rent, or just even not balled out so much on the first place.
Yeah.
And then I think I should have bought a property back then for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
So this wasn't the right move for you, your first experience.
I don't know. I don't know where I would have been now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because having that place really introduced me to clients.
Yeah.
Some of the clients that I brought over to the location, they kept me for a while doing like their headshots, their companies, and all that stuff. So I don't know where I would have been if I purchased a home and didn't have that studio.
So yeah, okay. So it sounds like it was the right move for, because you've grown from that.
Yeah, exactly. If it went the other way, I could have had an asset or something that maybe
Yeah.
I sold um, at some point and made some money.
Yeah.
So it's all different in ways and perspectives that I could have gone about it. Um, I personally would have wanted to purchase a home with the mindset that I have now.
Yeah.
Uh, but it is what it is.
Oh yeah, I mean, even at that time when you're younger, the knowledge of the housing market that you don't know anything.
Yeah, I wasn't even in that space.
Yeah.
That
So
mental space or whatever.
for anything, you could have been losing a lot more money. You know what I mean? Like now we know if we bought a home, what we would do to the house to add value to it.
Yeah.
But at a young age, we probably wouldn't be doing that. We'd probably be fucking up the house.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. The crazy thing is that particular spot, I guess someone purchased it recently.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was something for sale because Back then, it was just they were considered apartments,
Yeah.
and they were very, very unique apartments. So there were storefronts on the bottom, and then they had the living spaces up top, which is
Yeah.
very rare for Las Vegas, especially back in the back then. And so if I would have known that it was on sale at some point, then I probably would have bought it,
Yeah.
you know, because it would have been cheap, and then it would have been a really cool asset to have.
That would have been a great investment.
Hmm.
That's something that I always think back on my money too. So when I started making like, 8 to 10 grand a month, the first thing I did was like everybody else. I finally got a nice car, but the car
Mm.
was like $500 a month payment, which is
Yeah.
fine. It's not like I was getting $1,000 a month payment.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what I did. I got myself, a Mercedes SUV. It was still a tax write off, stuff like that. But um, when you first have that amount of money that you saved up, you're like, what can I do with this money?
Yeah.
You know? And so I'm like, where can I buy another business? Should I invest it somewhere else? And this is where I was like, man, I'm tired of owning businesses, especially after that liquor store incident. I'm like, I just don't want to do that anymore. I want to be the old man that just collects money.
Yeah.
How do I do that? I don't want to open up another restaurant and work all day, all night, and all this stuff. Like, I just want to collect. And so the first time I got this would be the second time. I'm sorry, this would be the third time.
Mm.
The third time I got asked to join a investment group. I took it right away. I didn't think anything else. And this is with my, YouTube friends and stuff. And now I have an investment with Junbi Matcha, Shrimp Daddy, and a couple other food concepts that we have. And I feel like that was the smartest move that I could do, was investing that with my friends. Um, but at the same time, I'm like, I also could have bought a few houses
Yeah.
and maybe I would make some more money,
Hmm.
you know? So I don't know where I would be if I didn't do that investment group stuff,
Yeah.
but I do know that I'm happy I invested my money somewhere else into another avenue,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I want to figure out something like that too. I think it'd be fun to. I mean, I don't know if it'd be fun, but I would like to find a group of friends that we just kill it together.
Yeah, I think everyone has to have the same goals.
Yeah.
There are people who invest in restaurants and or in houses, and they just want to cash flow immediately.
Yeah.
And then there's some that are in it for the long run, and they're not going to cash out till over 10 years later.
Yeah.
So either way, when you invest your money, all this hard-earned money that you've worked so hard for in your life, and you finally have it, and the moment you invest it, it's gone. Don't think you're going to get it back.
Hmm.
It's like gambling money. You got to think that it's going in, and when it's ready, it'll grow,
Yeah.
you know? And so, um, yeah, it's just got to be extra money. You know what I mean? And I think that's what hurts the most, is that when you invest, you're not going to get that money back.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking if I invested it in homes instead, I would definitely have a lot more money back
Hmm.
faster.
Hmm.
But it's not always about what's the fastest. So for me, being someone who doesn't have a 9 to 5, someone who's always self-employed and always owning his own businesses, which are small companies, I don't have a 401k. I don't have retirements.
Hmm.
So I got to figure out ways to have retirement money.
Yeah.
So I don't care if I get cash flow right now. I just want to build all of my money up so that when I do want to take it out, I'll have it.
I see.
So those were kind of the moves that I wanted to make in my life. Was it the right move or not? It's definitely setting myself up for the right move.
Yeah.
I don't feel it yet,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
I feel the same. I think for me, it put me in a position where I know what I know now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I didn't go through all that, then I wouldn't be in the position that I am today. Um, and so I'm able to take more calculated moves,
Yeah.
and position myself in a better, I guess, position.
Yeah.
Um, now that I have that knowledge.
So for both of us, we reinvested our money to try to make more money,
Yeah.
right? Is there one instance where you're like, that was the wrong one?
Oh, I see what you mean. Um, hmm.
Like, did you have to buy all this equipment? Like for me right now, I'm spending so much money on building this podcast out,
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I guess for me, it was spending too much money on equipment. For some people, they like I do have a goal of owning an agency or not. Like I own an agency, but I do have a goal of building it out and all that stuff. But some people have a goal of building like a production house, so they're buying equipment all the time,
Yeah.
right? For me, what I figured out is, um, I don't need that much equipment.
Yeah.
So over the years, I just ended up selling my stuff off.
Right.
You know, like I ended up being like a one man team. And then if I ever needed help with editing or whatever, then I just hired somebody. Or like if they had equipment, they would go out and do the job with their equipment. You know what I mean? So I didn't need to have all this stuff. And back then I was like, I need to have this. I need to have three cameras, you know, three glide cams and all like
Yeah.
all these lights. And so putting my money into that, I think was a bad decision because most of the time it just sat in the closet.
You just never even used it.
Yeah, I never really used it unless there was like a special occasion where I had to do a bigger production kind of thing.
What made you think that you needed to buy more stuff for your business?
It was just I was getting more busy, and then the vision that I had in my head, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be doing these big production things.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was the client would have enough budget to actually rent out spaces, and those spaces had the equipment, um, or they required a specific camera, like a red camera, and so I would have to rent that anyways, instead of having uh, three or four Canons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Damn. So it's really just experience. That's where
yeah,
you
I
learn
mean
all
it.
that.
That's just the cards that I got. You
Yeah.
know, some people they do want to have the reds and they do want to have all those Kino flow lights and stuff,
Yeah.
to be like a full production team. But in my case, I didn't need that. For me, it was like less is more kind of thing.
Right.
I could just like I got this. I can run with this. If I need to rent, then I'll throw that into their budget kind of thing or the invoice. And usually those clients are able to afford it. And yeah, from there I was just like, all right, let me sell off my equipment.
Nice.
Yeah,
So, all right. So you thought you needed to scale by buying more equipment, but you didn't need to.
which I could have bought. I could have put down a down payment on a house with that kind of money. Yeah,
Wow, that's how much stuff you bought.
yeah, throughout the years. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a pretty big mistake.
Yeah, and what
Um,
the funny thing is, like now I just have one camera,
yeah,
one light, a
yeah,
couple stands, and that's it.
nice.
So it's like that money kind of just came and left.
Yeah, that's crazy. So if you guys are trying to scale your businesses or trying to find ways to grow, make sure you don't buy too much shit.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's the same thing for me. Um, I was trying to grow my liquor store. I was trying to grow the laundromat. You know, I wanted to buy new machines because they were all breaking. I wanted to turn, an area of my liquor store into a humidifier to have cigars, like a cigar area.
Yeah.
That would have cost a lot of money, things like that. Luckily, I didn't. Instead, I started buying stuff that were tax write-offs, like, being able to transport. Um, Boxes and boxes of inventory, I didn't really spend too much money on that stuff. I think I just saved all my money, and when I had it, I bought a house finally,
Mm.
and that's what I did.
Yeah.
So I think I did do the right move in that way, but it took me about 4 years of owning a business to do that.
Mm.
So I think the only mistake I did was I definitely did the wrong businesses. I
Mm.
wish I did something else.
Yeah.
That was a little bit easier, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. So, learning a lot here in these Next Win episodes, and I hope you guys are too. So, make sure you guys subscribe and follow on all the podcast platforms and here on YouTube. And we'll see you guys next time.